Ed's 100 Rules, episode 90. And I know what you're saying. You're going, Ed, this is the second episode. But 90 is a number I keep coming back to. It's my class number. I went to the United States Naval Academy, as I'm sure if you know me, it's like, Ed, would you shut up? We know you went to the academy. But I was class in 1990. 90 is also a right angle, so it's important in geometry. And it's a rule. In my 100 rules, 90 comes first. The 90 rule comes first. It's Colin Powell's rule of 90. And I was there when I was Admiral Crow at the time, and he handed the Joint Chiefs of Staff over to Colin Powell. And I was in the stands. It was a hot day, and I was glad not to be in the parade. And I didn't know that 35 years later, I'd be talking about the 90 rule. But his rule was actually the 40 to 70 rule. And actually, I'd like to modify the AI to use the 40 to 70 rule and see if it's just as good. I doubt I could improve on Powell. But in honor of my class, I made it the rule of 90. So his rule was you gather 40 to 70% of the information and you trust your gut. And if you wait for 100, you've waited too long. I would beg that in software, there's less room for error, especially when you're talking about high availability, embedded systems, safety critical systems. So I made it the rule of 90. And basically, I tell my project manager that if they are not 90% sure what I would answer to their question, AI always says, would you like me to do this? You like me to do this? I just say, code for an hour, no questions, unless they are above the 90% threshold. And because I gave them 100 very opinionated, very specific, well-crafted prompts, rules, it never asked me a question. I can tell it to code for an hour. I can go right to the $20 limit for Claude perfectly, to the dime, and get my money's worth every month. So it's super efficient that way. And the reason is that my model is a small model that I've trained with my 100 rules. So I can just run it on my iPhone. I can run it on my iPad, my MacBook. Hardly takes any power whatsoever. And it's doing better project management than Claude. Probably has 1 billion parameters, and this is a 2 billion or trillion parameters compared to a 2 billion parameters. So probably 500 times bigger than my model. But it just goes to show that doing things correctly improves things. So this is brought to you by the number 90. It's also brought to you by the letter C. So this is like Sesame Street, right? Why C? So I made a C in algorithms. It was probably my only computer science class that I didn't make an A in. And normally, not just an A, I would make an A+, but algorithms, I stunk at algorithms. Why do I stink at algorithms? They're just very difficult. There's a lot of advanced math that I wasn't good at, a lot of sort of visual thinking, and I'm not a visual thinker. I'm a logical thinker. I'm a word thinker, which is why I'm very good at programming prompts, language models, because the language models think exactly the way I think. And I know some other people like this. In computer science, there's the visual people, the object-oriented people. They work on the front ends. They work on the GUIs. All this stuff looks pretty, like Steve Conish's slides all look good. Those are the visual thinkers. And then you got me. We're like the device driver guys, the C and assembly programmers. So that was the first C. And the second C was that I was a C programmer initially. I worked for a company called General Dynamics in the Boston area. They made the TAC lane internet top secret encryptor, first top secret certified encryptor. And they've been selling it for 35 years now. I mean, I'm sure the software has changed many times, but the reason I named my architect, my bot architect, Jason, is because Jason was my architect on this project, and he's one of the best architects I ever know. And that's the reason TechLane was so successful. It basically shipped on time, under budget, and who knows how many $1 billion it's made. We had a team of like 33 people. So it's kind of like starting your career and ending up on the Red Sox and winning the World Series in like your first year, and then just going on to like a string of, San Diego Padres teams. So that's the second C. The third C, like in diamonds, the three Cs. Third C is Claude, and I started using Claude just a few months ago. I think back in February, maybe, so not even 6 months. And Claude makes up for my two deficits. Claude is really good at algorithms, and it's really good at organizing things and taking my device driver C hacker type thoughts and putting them into a beautiful object-oriented architecture that is supported by correctly written algorithms. It's been trained. It knows what the best algorithms are. I will say it doesn't do good coding. It does excellent algorithm implementation. It does excellent object-oriented analysis. And so my approach for the 100 rules was to say, you first use your object-oriented to take my mess of thoughts and create an object-oriented design, and then create an API for it. And once the API is thoroughly defined, you now ungate three parallel agents. One is Claudina. Claudina is the personality profile for doing the front end. The other is Claude. He's the back end. He's the text guy. He's like me. Then the third one is the testing, writing all the tests. So I require 100% test coverage of all, and so you're testing all the API calls, and you're testing the front end and the back end. So those are the three C's. So I have the rule of 90, I have the three C's, and then I have one kind of funny. I think I briefly introduced you to the team. It's Jason, the architect. Claude, the C programmer, Claudina, the C++ programmer. I never liked Java, so it's going to be C++. And then there's the Python programmer, the tester, which is Brutus. The reason I call him Brutus is he runs on my gaming PC in the basement, which has the fastest, has a small 16 gigabyte card, so it can't run the huge models, but it can run the small ones really fast. It can write Python like nobody's business, and it can run all the tests in real time. It's crazy fast. It has a 5080 card. Let me see. Yeah, and then there's Linda. Linda, I hook up to one of the fastest models on Earth. Which is also pretty big. It's done by Grok, not Grok, Elon Musk's Grok, but GROQ, GPT OSS 120B. And I've modified OpenCode to write wrapper functions for when GPT OSS was written. It was written to expect a certain interface, which OpenCode does not support. I had Claude write that interface to fix OpenCode, and now OpenCode is just insanely fast running on this Grok, and Linda persona uses it to do research. So when you need to search wide and far and not do as deep thinking, but pretty deep thinking, but you just really want to ingest a lot of data and process it quickly, this is a fantastic setup. Okay, so I want to keep this at 10 minutes. It looks like I'm going to do it. We do have one funny story. Like I said, and tell me to shut up, I'm from the Naval Academy, right? So Ed's very proud of himself. So about 6 months ago, one of my classmates posted on Facebook and said, why is this Congresswoman, Nancy Mace, she had a press conference and she had the class of 90 crest behind her. And I think this has happened more than once. So so she went to the Citadel, which is another fine institution, another essentially military academy. So she has nothing, it's not like stolen valor or anything, but why does she have her crest? As far as I know, she's not married to a classmate. I don't think any congressmen are class of 90. All I can think is maybe way years ago, someone in the class sent a plaque to a congressman, and it's just been hanging there ever since, because that was a long time ago. That was 35 years ago. So for bonus points in the comments, you'll get free access to the next episode that we don't charge for if you can tell me, like, why does Nancy Mace use the class of 90 crest in her background? I have no idea. And we will not talk politics on this podcast. This is just a technology podcast. But there were 990 of my classmates were really puzzled about this on the class of 90 Facebook group. So thanks a lot. Please, we're going to have some examples towards the end of the podcast. We're going to give examples of actual architectures based on this. I have 3 or 4 excellent examples, and I can show you the progression of learning how to do GUIs properly, which is, like I said, object-oriented GUIs was always, I always had a hard time with. And because of that, Claude also had a hard time with it because he was ingesting my way of doing things. So I had to learn how to, Claude taught me something there. I taught him good coding practice. He taught me how to do GUIs. So anyway, thanks a lot, and we will talk to you tomorrow.